Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is VC Pramod with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a meeting with Chief Ministers of States and Union Territories to review coronavirus situation in the country. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.76%. Central government and ICMR scale up the COVID testing infrastructure to ensure easily accessible tests for all. Deep depression over Bay of Bengal intensifies into cyclonic storm Nivar, affecting several districts of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. And in Bihar, BJP leader Vijay Sinha and Awadh Bihari Chaudhary of RJD filed nomination papers for Assembly Speaker. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is holding a meeting with the Chief Ministers of States and Union Territories to review the coronavirus situation in the country. Chief Ministers of Delhi, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, among others, are attending the meeting through video conferencing. Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba, Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan and Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul are also present in the high-level COVID review meet. The Prime Minister had earlier, on last Friday, held a meeting with top officials on India's strategy for developing a vaccine and making it accessible to the masses. Prior to the high-level meeting with the Prime Minister on COVID situation, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath yesterday directed to make all arrangements with regard to the COVID vaccine in an organized and time-bound manner. More from our correspondent.
In a meeting, Chief Minister directed to ensure cold chain arrangements for vaccination in all the districts by 15 December in order to enhance the efficiency of the vaccines. He said that the whole exercise should be done with interdepartmental coordination and all logistics should be in place in time. He also asked to ensure adequate availability of the vaccinators in view of the large population of the state. Directing to conduct COVID testing to full capacity, Chief Minister said that mass awareness for COVID protection should be continued. Yesterday, he inaugurated 8 new labs for corona testing. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
India has leaped across a significant milestone in its fight against COVID. With recovery of more than 86 lakh people so far, the national recovery rate has reached at 93.76%. With overall recovery of nearly 86 lakh 5,000 patients, the recovered cases in the country stand at nearly 20 times the number of active cases. Over 42,000 patients recovered and were discharged in the last 24 hours, whereas the new confirmed cases reported in the same time span stood at nearly 38,000. The active caseload of the country also continues to remain below 5%. The total active cases in the country today stands at 4,38,667, which comprises merely 4.78% of the total reported cases. The Health Ministry has informed that 26 states and union territories in the country have reported less than even 20,000 active cases. The Health Ministry has said that fatality rate stands at 1.46%. It informed that 480 case fatalities were reported in the past 24 hours.
Nearly 11 lakh COVID samples were tested in the country in the last 24 hours. With this, the cumulative testing figure has reached nearly 13 crore 37 lakh mark. The central government and the ICMR have scaled up the testing infrastructure in a calibrated manner. India's testing capacity has touched 15 lakh per day, ensuring easily accessible COVID-19 tests for all. The Health Ministry has said that very high levels of testing lead to early identification, prompt isolation and effective treatment of COVID-19 cases. It said this also leads to low fatality rate. Starting from just one testing lab at the National Institute of Virology, Pune in January this year, the country today has 2,134 labs for testing COVID samples, which includes 1,166 government and 968 private labs. In Gujarat, the Surat Municipal Corporation has decided to increase by 4 times the COVID beds in the city. Surat Municipal Commissioner Bachtinandi Pani has said that the bed availability in private hospitals dedicated for COVID-19 treatment in the city will be increased from present 129 to 560. AIR Ahmedabad correspondent reports that Gujarat government has also decided to increase the testing centers in 4 major cities of the state to check the infections. More from our correspondent in this report.
After recent spurt in COVID-19 cases in Gujarat, the state government has increased the testing facilities in Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara and Rajkot. Now Surat has 200 antigen testing centers after setting up 13 centers in Textile Market and 5 centers in Diamond Market yesterday. Surat Municipal Commissioner has asked the old medical store owners to put the signboards about the nearest testing centers in the city. Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has also increased testing centers after spike in fresh cases post-Diwali. Meanwhile, tourist destinations in Dang and Valsad districts have been closed by the district authorities. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Bihar, a high alert has been issued across the state for 15 days in view of rising number of corona cases in other states. District magistrates and superintendents of police have been instructed in this regard. This decision was taken at a meeting of Crisis Management Group headed by Chief Secretary Deepak Kumar. The Chief Secretary said campaigning on wearing masks has been launched. Stern action will be taken against those who violate the instructions. Vehicles will be seized if drivers and travellers are found without mask. This will apply to all vehicles, including car, bike and bicycles. Shops will be sealed if shopkeepers and customers are found without mask. The number of active cases in the state is continuously declining. 412 new cases were reported in the state in the last 24 hours. Currently, 5,515 patients are undergoing treatment at various hospitals and 480 patients recovered in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate has improved to 97.25% in the state. Karnataka reported 1,509 new COVID cases and 1,645 recoveries according to the bulletin released by the Health Department. The case positivity rate reported during the same period was 1.57% and the case fatality rate at 1.59%. There were 24 deaths reported due to the coronavirus. Speaking about the decline in the positivity rate since October end, the COVID war room in charge Munish Mudgal said that RT-PCR positivity rate is one of the best measures of adequacy of testing. He said that Karnataka has done the highest RT-PCR tests per lakh population in the country. Meanwhile, Karnataka Health and Medical Education Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar has said that the state is prepared for the distribution of vaccine when it is introduced in the country. More from our correspondent.
Karnataka Health and Medical Education Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar has said that necessary action is initiated for COVID-19 vaccine delivery once it is introduced in the country. Speaking on the measures for management of vaccine, the minister said that 29,451 vaccination sites and 10,008 vaccinators are identified as per the norms of the Universal Immunization Program. He further informed that around 2,855 cold chain points are available for storage and distribution of vaccine. 3 new regional vaccine stores in Bengaluru, Shivamogga and Ballari are proposed for a better supply chain network. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In view of sharp rise in COVID-19 cases, the Himachal Pradesh government has decided to shut all education institutions in the state till the 31st of December. Our correspondent reports that the state government has also decided to impose night curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in 4 districts. Here is more from our correspondent.
The decision to close all educational institutions till 31st December has been taken in a state cabinet meeting in Shimla. The cabinet has also decided to impose night curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in 4 districts, that is Shimla, Mandi, Kangra and Kullu from November 24 to December 15. However, online studies would commence from coming 26th November. The state government has also decided that all social, political, cultural, sports, etc. gatherings in open areas would be restricted to 200 persons with social social distancing. Cabinet has also decided that a fine of rupees 1,000 would be imposed for not wearing a face mask in public places. Sanjeev Sundariyal, AIR News, Shimla.
In Telangana, 921 fresh COVID cases were reported during the last 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID cases in the state has gone up to 2,65,049. Over 42,000 tests were conducted yesterday. The recovery rate slightly improved to 95.28%, with 1,097 more people recovering yesterday. According to the daily bulletin issued by the state agency, total 1,437 deaths were reported so far, following 4 more people succumbing to COVID-19 and comorbidities in the last 24 hours. Currently, the state has over 11,000 active cases, out of which over 8,000 are in home isolation.
In Tripura, 31,273 corona-infected people have been cured so far, while the recovery rate has further improved to 96.49%. In the past 24 hours, 19 new cases of coronavirus were detected, while 27 patients were discharged from hospitals after recovery. With this, the total number of infected people now rose to 32,434, and 768 people are undergoing treatment in different COVID care centres. With the death of a COVID patient yesterday, the toll now stands at 367. The State Health Bulletin stated that 5,13,040 samples have been tested till yesterday evening. In Mizoram, 50 fresh cases of coronavirus infections were detected in the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID-19 positive cases rose to 3,710. According to the State Medical Bulletin, the state has also recorded 11 cases of recovery of coronavirus infections in the last 24 hours. So far, 3,203 infected people have been recovered from the virus and discharged from different COVID care centres. The recovery rate has also improved to 87.51%. The number of active cases presently stands at 502. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the government will take more steps to continue the momentum of economic reforms in the country. Addressing a conference organized by CII, she said, the momentum of reforms will continue to make India a hotspot of global investment. Ms. Sitharaman said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has not lost any opportunity to take deep reforms at this time of pandemic. She said Mr. Modi also undertook those kinds of reforms which have not seen the light of day over decades.
We have been taking absolutely strong reform-related measures. The reduction in corporate tax in September 2019 to be the lowest as much as possible compared with very many developed economies or emerging economies. 15% and with nothing else added to it. Taxation, corporate rate being 15%, the lowest I would think anywhere in the world. And also for the existing companies, saying that they can come down to the level of 22%, clearly showing that our intent is to show immediate benefit for the MNCs and any large companies or small companies which would want to open shop and start producing, opening up newer areas.
Ms. Sitharaman said the financial sector is being professionalized and the government will continue with disinvestment and privatization agenda.
Not to reject India's role in global trading community. Not to reject India's role in the manufacturing story, which actually should be, like the way you have said very clearly, that India should become a major investment hotspot. And for that, we have to make sure that we get everything right.
On reforms in taxation system, the finance minister said, use of technology such as faceless assessment has eased the tax filing process. Ms. Sitharaman said the reduction in corporate tax clearly shows that government's intent is to show immediate benefits for the MNCs and any large or small companies.
Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla briefed a select group of heads of mission on the planned terrorist attack in Nagrota district in Jammu and the implications of the incident on security, diplomacy and the battle against terrorism. Terrorist attack was foiled on the 19th of this month by security forces. Sources said this is the first of several briefings to be conducted by the Ministry of External Affairs in small groups in view of the COVID-19 situation. Other secretaries would also be briefing heads of mission in their areas of jurisdiction. Sources said the idea is to share information as widely as possible with the international community. The heads of mission were provided with a detailed information docket giving the details of the incident as it transpired, as well as list of items and munition that were recovered from terrorists, clearly indicating their Pakistani origins. It was shared with them how preliminary investigations by the police and intelligence authorities, markings on the recovered AK-47 rifles and other items led us to believe that the terrorists belonged to Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed. It was also pointed out how the incident of November 19th is part of Pakistan's ongoing terror campaign in Jammu and Kashmir, and that in the year 2020 itself we have seen 200 incidents of terrorist violence and neutralization of 199 terrorists. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds meeting with Chief Ministers of States and Union Territories to review coronavirus situation in the country. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.76%. Central government and ICMR scale up the COVID testing infrastructure to ensure easily accessible tests for all. Deep depression over Bay of Bengal intensifies into cyclonic storm Nivar, affecting several districts of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. And in Bihar, BJP leader Vijay Sinha and Awadh Bihari Chaudhary of RJD file nomination papers for Assembly Speaker. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to Midday News. In Bihar, election of new Assembly Speaker will be held tomorrow. Senior BJP leader Vijay Sinha filed nomination paper for the post of Bihar Assembly Speaker today. Sinha is an NDA candidate. On the other hand, RJD leader Awadh Bihari Chaudhary also filed nomination paper on behalf of the Grand Alliance. Opposition leader Tejasvi Yadav appealed members to vote in favor of Mr. Chaudhary. In the new assembly, the NDA has 125 seats, including 74 members of the BJP. An independent MLA has also extended support to it. RJD is the largest party in the assembly with 75 members, leading the opposition's Grand Alliance, which has got 110 seats. There are 7 others, including 5 members of AIMIM. President Ramnath Kovind today visited Padmavati Amravati Temple in Tiruchanur. He participated in the Amravati Puja along with his family. Andhra Pradesh Governor Bishwa Bhushan Harichandan also accompanied the President. The President today boarded the Air India 1B777 aircraft on its inaugural flight to Chennai. He commended the pilots, crew members and the entire team of Air India and Indian Air Force for operating the state-of-the-art aircraft and facilitating VVIP movements within India and on state visits abroad. The President will also be visiting Tirupati to offer prayers at the Sri Venkateswar Swami Temple.
A 2-day All India Presiding Officers Conference will be held at the Statue of Unity at Kevadia in Gujarat from tomorrow. Addressing the press conference at Gandhinagar this afternoon, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said that the theme of this year's conference is Harmonious Coordination of Legislative, Executive and Judiciary, Key to a Vibrant Democracy. The Speaker said that President Ramnath Kovind will inaugurate the 2-day conference. He said that Vice President and Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha M. Venkaiah Naidu will also be present on this occasion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the valedictory session on Thursday to mark the celebration of the Constitution Day. Mr. Birla said that it is our collective efforts to maintain the constitutional sanctity which is very important for mutual coexistence between the 3 organs of governance and the sustenance of democracy in the country. The deep depression over the southwest Bay of Bengal has intensified into the cyclonic storm Nivar early this morning. It has triggered widespread rain in several districts of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Chennai and its suburbs have witnessed intermittent rain since last evening. The Met Department in Chennai says the cyclone Nivar is moving northwestward at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour for the past 6 hours. It currently lies 450 kilometers southeast of Chennai and 410 kilometers southeast of Puducherry. It is very likely to intensify into a severe cyclonic storm in the next 24 hours. It is set to cross the coast between Karaikal and Mamallapuram close to Puducherry on Wednesday evening. During its landfall, the wind speed is expected to be in the range of 100 to 110 kilometers an hour, gushing to 120 kilometers per hour. More from our correspondent.
During his interaction with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy explained about the preparatory measures being undertaken by the administration to tackle the cyclone. District administrations in the vicinity of the cyclone have identified houses with thatched roofs and weak structures to evacuate people to safety. Shelters and relief centers have been established with sufficient social distancing. Control rooms at district levels have been established, functioning on a 24/7 basis. And the state-level control center at Chennai, being run by the State Disaster Management Authority, is also functioning round the clock. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
Our Puducherry correspondent has filed this report.
The Union Territory Administration setting up 80 relief centers and control rooms in all the departments and made war-foot arrangements for the rehabilitation of people in low-lying areas. All shops and other establishments have been asked to close business today evening as a safety measure. Schools are closed today and tomorrow. Chief Minister Narayanasamy ordered to ensure uninterrupted drinking water supply and instructed the Electricity Department to be ready to restore power supply in case of disruption within 12 hours. To assist the district administration in the relief activities, 2 teams of National Disaster Relief Force to Puducherry and 1 team to Karaikal, each consisting of 20 members, deployed. Chandramohan, AR News, Puducherry.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy and Puducherry Chief Minister V. Narayanasamy regarding the situation. He assured all possible support from the centre to the state and the Union Territory. Mr. Modi prayed for the safety and well-being of those living in the affected areas.
Cyclonic storm Nivar is also expected to hit the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh. There is a forecast of widespread rain in many districts in coastal and Rayalaseema regions of the state in the next 3 days. The frontline departments in Andhra Pradesh and district administrations across the state have been asked to remain alert tomorrow and the day after. Meteorological Centre Amravati head S. Stella told our Vijayawada correspondent that sea would be very rough and the fishermen have been advised not to venture into the sea till the 26th. In Uttarakhand, following a fresh spell of snowfall, the mercury dropped across the state. According to the Met Department, light to very light showers occurred in the high-altitude areas of Uttarkashi, Rudraprayag and Chamoli districts in the last 24 hours, while a few places in Bageshwar, Pithoragarh and Dehradun received light showers. According to the reports, Badrinath, Kedarnath, the Valley of Flowers, Rudranath, Auli and surrounding hills have received snowfall in the last 24 hours. The Met Department has issued a forecast of snow and rain in the state today.
In Odisha, many parts experienced cold with mercury dipping below 15 degrees Celsius in at least 12 places in the last 24 hours. While the minimum temperature of 9 degrees Celsius was reported in Daringabadi in Pulmani district, the state capital Bhubaneswar recorded 16 degrees Celsius. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Besides cold wave, the significant drop in temperature has also ushered in dense fog in some parts of the state. Districts like Pulbani and Sundargarh witnessed a cloud of fog cutting visibility down below 100 meters. Other areas to experience low visibility early in the day today due to the drop in temperature. Meanwhile, the Bhubaneswar-based Meteorological Center has predicted heavy rainfall in at least 4 South Odisha districts like Malkanagiri, Koraput, Rayagada and Gajapati on Thursday night, even as the cyclonic storm Nibar over southwest Bay of Bengal faces likely intensification into a severe cyclonic storm and cross the Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coast by afternoon tomorrow. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to prominent leader Sir Chotu Ram on his birth anniversary today. He said Sir Chotu Ram dedicated his life for public service and farmer welfare and fought for the rights of food givers of the country. Mr. Modi said Sir Chotu Ram became the voice of the workers, the deprived and the exploited, and his contribution towards the upliftment of society will always remain unforgettable.
The Prime Minister also paid tributes to the courageous General of erstwhile Ahom Kingdom, Lachit Borphukan, on the occasion of Lachit Divas today. Mr. Modi said Lachit Borphukan was an outstanding leader and strategist who played a pivotal role in protecting the unique culture of Assam. He said Borphukan's contribution towards empowering the poor and downtrodden will inspire generations to come. In Assam, people from all walks of life are paying their last respect to former Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi. The former Chief Minister passed away in Guwahati yesterday. His mortal remains have been taken to Congress Party office in Guwahati. Later, the mortal remains will be kept at Sankardev Kalakshetra for people to pay their tributes. Party sources said that his last rites will be performed on Thursday.
Martyrdom Day of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Guru of Sikhs, is being observed today across the country. It was on this day in 1675, Guru Tegh Bahadur sacrificed his life to protect religion, human values, ideals and principles. The martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur is remembered as Shahidi Divas every year. President Ramnath Kovind paid tribute to Guru Tegh Bahadur on his martyrdom day. In a message, the President said Guru Tegh Bahadur made supreme sacrifice to protect the faith, belief and rights of the people. Therefore, the fellow citizens call him Hindi Chadar with love and respect. In Assam, Bhoot Jalokia or chili king farming has brought tremendous financial help to the women folk at Tinsukia districts. The financial assistance of Assam State Rural Livelihood Mission has hugely complemented the efforts of the rural women. A report.
The women self-help groups in rural Assam is boosting household income. Zarnali Hazarika, a member of the Seuji self-help group at Matekhana village in Tinsukia district, is in the business of food jolokia cultivation as well as selling of saplings. She earned over 3 lakh rupees per year by cultivating food jolokia in 1 bigha of land. Ms. Hazarika has also started a nursery of food jolokia and this year she would sell 3 lakh saplings. Apart from neighboring district, she sells her product in Dimapur and Itanagar also. Manas Pratim Sharma, AR News, Tinsukia.
In the United States, the General Services Administration, GSA, has acknowledged Joe Biden as the apparent winner of the presidential election following weeks of inaction. President Donald Trump has called on his agencies to cooperate. He said a formal transition should begin for President-elect Joe Biden to take office. The President said the federal agency overseeing the handover must do what needs to be done, even as he vowed to keep contesting his election defeat. The development came as Biden's victory in the state of Michigan was officially certified, which was a major blow to Trump. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital will have a hazy sky. Minimum temperature recorded in the morning was 6.8 degrees. Maximum will be around 25 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, sky will be mainly clear. Minimum temperature was 20 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 34 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The temperature will hover between 24 and 29 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is expected to have mainly clear sky with temperature hovering between 15 and 28 degrees Celsius. In Srinagar, rain and snowfall is expected. Minimum temperature was 0 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 5 degrees. Jammu will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 14 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 19 degrees. Leh will also have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was -6 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 1 degree. Gilgit will have light snowfall and the temperature will hover between -2 and 8 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is expected to have thunderstorm with rain today. The temperature will vary from 5 degrees to 11 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 9 and 23 degrees Celsius. The city will have partly cloudy sky. Chandigarh will have generally cloudy sky, and in Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 29 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds meeting with Chief Ministers of States and Union Territories to review coronavirus situation in the country. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 93.76%. Central government and ICMR scale up the COVID testing infrastructure to ensure easily accessible tests for all. Deep depression over Bay of Bengal intensifies into cyclonic storm Nivas, affecting several districts of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. And in Bihar, BJP leader Vijay Sinha and Awadh Bihari Chaudhary of RJD filed nomination papers for Assembly Speaker. And with that, we end the Midday News.